2025 is the year that we finally get GTA 6. At the time of this video's release, there hasn't been any announcements about delays so far, so let's hope they stick to their guns and keep their word that GTA 6 will be released in the fall time. With that being said, a lot of game publishers and companies are praying that GTA 6 Standard Edition will be at around $100. The reason why they pull that figure out their asses is because GTA 6 has cost Rockstar Games $2 billion to make, and there needs to be something to quickly make up that lost profit and going beyond that. Other studios, and I'm mainly referring to EA and Ubisoft, are trying to find every single possible solution to justify new prices. It's like Doctor Strange in Infinity War when he's looking into 14,605 possible outcomes to defeat Thanos. Those two clowns are greedy as hell, and they will jump to those prices faster than you can blink if Rockstar announces a $100 price for the new standard. The biggest argument I'm seeing from the people in that industry is that it simply costs too much to make a AAA title nowadays, and the innovations that come along with making these said games. While that is true, it doesn't always have to cost over $100 million for a title that nobody has ever heard of before because it's a brand new crappy IP, or a title of an existing series or franchise that isn't relevant in today's gaming world because their last game came out back in 2005 and they just now want to dump an unholy amount of money for a remake or a sequel that's 20 years too late. The problem I'm having with this is that a lot of AAA studios don't make games with the quality of care like Rockstar when they make GTA or Red Dead games. I feel like every time I watch a new game trailer for any game, I get the feeling that whatever studio is making that said game only took 2 years to make. This is simply not okay. I feel like that if there's a AAA game that's in the works, it should take at least 5, maybe 6 years to make. We are getting so many games from major studios and it's very overwhelming and especially making us feel burnt out and we eventually skip out on some titles. If you were to ask me to give you examples on innovations in these modern games, I honestly couldn't give you anything that would actually justify raising prices for just the standard versions alone, because it circles back to what I said earlier. Most AAA studios don't give the proper time and care for their projects, and it shows. The state of Call of Duty right now is like seeing an angel fall. So much beauty, love, and care back in the older titles versus now, that while the cycle of developers releasing their projects every year remain relatively the same, the quality and care isn't there as much because Activision is heavily relying on microtransactions and random collabs. Why am I seeing Nicki Minaj as a specialist in a military shooter game? There are so many YouTube videos going into great depths explaining and showing the fall of this franchise much better than I can. There is simply no solid proof and reasons as to why standard games need to have a price going up to set it as the new standard price for the standard version. The only thing I see from the gaming industry is nothing but pure greed. Mammon is practically their god and it's sickening and we need to call out on their bullshit. If $100 is the new $60 for a standard, many people would simply wait for their favorite YouTuber or content creator to make a review on the game first. Our trust between the consumer and producers have severely been damaged, and it feels like there is no light at the end of the tunnel. These studios are asking way too much upfront, and with the economy in its current state, more and more people will be willing to wait for games to be out on a summer or holiday sale. Indie games have been more and more enjoyable because most indie studios makes up 1 or 2 people, and it rarely ever is a huge team making an indie game. So with that being said, it's a passion project first, and you can really tell that so much effort, time, and love was poured into their projects, and it clearly shows. I'm not talking about those games where you only press like 1 or 2 buttons as quote-unquote gameplay, and it costs like $1.99 on Steam, or the fact it somehow got into the PlayStation Store. It's the type of indie games that are story-driven, and how art is actual art, with it rarely ever being about a political message or an ideology that's being forced. I feel like the only title right now that would justify that price would be GTA 6 and GTA 6 alone. History shows how much blood, sweat, and tear goes into these projects, and it's why I would be in support of it. We know that Rockstar is doing everything they can to make their story work. The gameplay feeling nice and polished, the mechanics and world environments feel very much fresh and worth exploring and seeing what the map has to offer. Obviously, that example would be Red Dead Redemption 2. It's been 7 years and that game looks and feels a lot better than most AAA titles, and I wish I was lying. That's pretty much what I got to say about this situation. Part of me hopes that it won't be the case of GTA 6 being $100, simply because I'm worried that other studios that aren't worthy of that kind of price will take advantage of it, and it would be a huge problem for the everyday gamer. That's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next.